strictly business, strictly religious. Everybody wondered, what make Louis Armstrong, but they're right now before him. See, you born with that in you.
A Black woman, born soon after the end of the American Civil War, she would have seemed destined to be forgotten. Yet her holiness of life marked Anna Ellison Butler Alexander as something more. She was the 11th and youngest child of James and Daphne Alexander, both of whom had been born into slavery on Pierce Butler's St. Simon's Island properties. After emancipation, Alec and Daphne relocated their family inland to Pennick, Georgia, a deeply rural Black community. They would raise their 11 children to share their passion for education as the means to a better life, and would use the Bible and the Book of Common Prayer as the foundation of all education. A confirmed Episcopalian, Anna started her career as a public school teacher in Pennick, but she was much dissatisfied with public education. She longed to teach children to read as her father had taught his children, learning to love God as they learned to read and write. Anna left Pennick's public school to join her two sisters, Mary and Dora, at St. Cyprian's Church in Darien. Georgia's roads were not reliable at the time. Darien was more readily accessible by boat, a 20-mile journey she made each week by a combination of walking and rowing. One Sunday, Anna attended a service at St. Athanasius Episcopal Church in Brunswick, where she began to dream of establishing a mission church in Pennick. There were still many in Pennick that she longed to introduce to the joy she had found in her own faith journey. St. Athanasius's priest, the Reverend J.J. Perry, agreed to baptize anyone she presented. Too inexperienced to know what could not be done, and convinced that God would provide, Anna began to organize her mission. The church first met in the open on a fall morning in 1894 on a slight rise near Sapp Still. Some weeks later, Perry found himself in Pennick as promised, baptizing the first 6 children of the new congregation. Anna had a passion for community that was contagious.
Listen to a conversation. You would always have something to think back what she have said or said you should do, how you should react and all of that. It'll carry you through life. I don't think a name in that register that she Touched, if they were living today, wouldn't say the same thing I'm saying about her. She's just that type of person, yeah.
In 1897, Anna was accepted to what would become St. Paul's College in Virginia, a new college created with the chief intention of developing African American teachers. She returned 3 years later to revive the fledgling mission, which she renamed the Church of the Good Shepherd, and established a church-based school. Teaching from her home and taking in sewing, Anna worked with the slim means of the community and the assistance of philanthropic organizations to purchase a piece of a property on Pennick Road. Her brother, Charles, worked with the local men to raise a tin-roofed pole house of smoothed logs enclosed in clapboards. The Good Shepherd School opened on the first Monday of September in 1902. On Sundays, it served as the church.
She was very upright, believed in the students of this community, and saw that they went to school.
She was a lovely person, but I didn't think so because I didn't want to be out there trying to read and write. Then she went back there and said, "Teach these children the ABCs." She said, "I sure will." So after she left, Annie looked at Uncle and said, "What that fool woman talking about? ABCs." She didn't know ABCs either, you see. And so she started writing ABCs on a piece of paper. And every so often, she would come by until we could recognize our letters and ABCs.
Impressed by Anna's personal piety and the work she was accomplishing by force of will, the Episcopal Bishop of Georgia, C.K. Nelson, decided to go against the larger church and the church in the South to make Anna the only African-American deaconess to ever serve in the Episcopal Church. This life of service of a deaconess was so very much like deacons today and their male counterparts of the time that in 1970, the Episcopal Church retroactively recognized deaconesses as part of the Sacred Order of Deacons. Anna's ministry took place solely in a segregated church. The Diocese of Georgia had segregated its convention in 1907, creating the Council of Colored Churchmen the year before Anna became a deaconess. During the segregated conventions, work of colored congregations largely went unremarked. The white and colored conventions reunited in 1947, the year of Deaconess Alexander's death. In his 1930 convention address, Bishop F.F. Reese, the longest-serving bishop of Georgia, broke that unwritten rule to tell the convention of the work of Deaconess Alexander. He told the all-white congregation of the faith and courage and persistency of this good woman. Anna's single-minded determination to lift up her community went well beyond the confines of the one-room schoolhouse that still stands today in Pennick, with the deaconess's small apartment perched on the second floor. Anna secured a place in technical schools and colleges for her students. Then she put her graduates in her car and drove them to a new life. Fort Valley State here in Georgia, Voorhees College in South Carolina, St. Augustine's University in North Carolina, and her own St. Paul's College in Virginia received the children, grandchildren, and then great-grandchildren of the formerly enslaved Africans.
I had two aunts and uncle. She carried from here to Fort Valley State non-industrial institution. I had one aunt stayed there and finished, and went on to nursing school and became a certified nurse.
She had ministered to many of the students that went to college, that she was responsible for taking them there. It seemed that they get educated.
Visiting Good Shepherd today, the area no longer contains a thriving African-American community. Deaconess Alexander depopulated Pennick one carload at a time and drove them away to lives they could not have imagined. Some have returned to work in Glenn County, and they share a passion when they speak with a gleam in their eyes about the miracle that happened there.
She wasn't only concerned about Good Shepherd here. She was concerned about all children.
And she wanted to see that every child had the opportunity to get an education if it was possible.
They would have gone to the wayside if it wasn't for her. Yeah.
Yes, you loved them. Yes, you loved them.
You know every one of them.
Yes, you loved them.
Yeah, she really did. Boys and girls.
Bad